Yes, I'm here, Ann Bradshaw.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, well, thanks for jumping on with me. I think we want to get started with this, and we'll keep it short and sweet. But it's been for me just finishing up basically my I don't know, technically not my second month. I started um, in June, right, Chris, and then now finishing up technically, I guess, near the second month, but finishing up July here. And all the stuff that's happened, it's been a whirlwind with Black Oxygen. And I knew this thing was going to explode the minute I talked to Chris and the whole company, Dave, who's on this call, Wykowski, Carlo, who's on this call. I've been, and Chris, all three of you guys have been very instrumental in helping me just start to get a grasp on the business part of this, because it's not something that I intended on doing, but I believed in the product so much just by knowing my past experience with supplements and knowing what this was capable of, that I knew this was going to explode and this wave was going to be gigantic. So Chris sent me the product, got my kids on it, got my wife on it, got myself on it. 10 days after being on it, I ran 22 miles without having done any long distance runs in a year and a half. Woke up the next day, was hardly even sore. And that's the moment I knew this was the real deal. My kids, after 10 days of being on it, were already noticing, teenagers who were already in incredible shape, competitive swimmer and a competitive rower, noticing that they were burying their workouts. And so I knew it was going to be big, man. So that's the thing is I mean, I've never seen anything sell like this, because the minute people try it, the minute they try it and they're on it for a week, generally, to a little bit longer, all of a sudden I'm getting reports back from everybody. I mean, literally everybody, from competitive runners to diabetics to people suffering from asthma to autistic kids. It's really a blessing. I mean, the timing of this couldn't have been any better, Chris. So, I mean, the immune system stuff that we've been talking about, how this protects the immune system and builds the immune system up. And Carlo, you're the first person, he's the president of the company, the first customer of this product. And Carlo's been on it for 5 years. And Carlo, maybe you can talk to people about your immune system since you've been on it.
For sure, Pat. Thank you very much. It's funny because the last time I was sick was 5 years ago in a day, I think, when I first went out to meet Mark, my partner, Mark St. Ange, the CEO and formulator. It's funny because all this could have never maybe happened if it wasn't for one decision I made. And I said to myself, I'm so sick. I don't think I've ever been as sick I was 5 years ago of the flu, cough, fever. And I said, I had made a commitment to go with a friend of mine to go to Ottawa to meet Mark. And I said, I almost canceled on him. All this maybe wouldn't have been around if it was for that decision. But I went sick as a dog. I met with him. We discussed a few things. I just went to talk about the product and find out where it was being made. This incredible product that I was about to try. I want to make sure that it was pure, how it was made, where it was made. From that day on, I took Black Oxygen, and I've never been sick since. Not even the sniffles, guys. I mean, I go out there during these special times, as Les Brown calls them. I don't call them crazy. He calls them special. And I feel like Superman. I go out there. I don't wear gloves. I don't wear masks. I walk around. Sometimes I even forget to wash my hands when they say you got to wash your hands and kill this deadly disease with soap and water. It's pretty crazy. But since then, we worked hard, and I loved it. And I kept on touching base with Mark, and Mark would just kind of brush off my calls a couple times, and I call him again. And Jazz, our customer service, which worked for him years ago, says, "It's that Carlo guy again. You want to talk to him?" I said, "Jazz, pass me Mark, please. Mark, what are we doing? I'll help you. I don't need to be any part of it. Let's get into the multi-level marketing, the direct sales." He says, "No, we're gonna go traditional business. We're gonna try to hit a couple of health food stores, some sporting goods stores, and we'll try to get it out there." I says, "Okay, fine." A couple of years down the road, called him again. He goes, "Okay, listen, let's give it a one final ditch effort. I know I'm selling it, but in that kind of industry, you wait 120 days to get paid. People don't know about the product. This secret is going to just stay that way on a shelf. Nobody knows about it. You got a $15 an hour kid that doesn't know anything about the 18,000 products that are in that store. And you really want to sit there and you're going to say they're going to pinpoint that one product? It's impossible.
Right. Yeah, so it takes personal experience using the product and then testimonials to really something that's this powerful. That's the way you have to sell this. You really do.
Absolutely. You have to try it, love it, and share it. That's the only way really to show people the power with your own personal testimonial. And we have a lot of them now. Let me tell you, that's almost like every single person that tries our product has some sort of a great reaction benefit. They're like, it could be from diabetes, could be just energy, lack of energy, could be anything. It's amazing to me. Even though I know the product is phenomenal, me and Mark are sitting there at one of our events, one of our very first events, and we're sitting in the back of the room waiting to be introduced and whatever. But a bunch of people were getting up and saying, "Oh, can I get up and talk about my, my little testimonial?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So they get up. These people were coming up with some things. We're looking at each other and said, we know that was pretty powerful, but man, I think we got something. We got lightning in a bottle, like you call it there, Pat. And it's. And one lady gets up and she goes, "I haven't cleaned my house in years." I felt like saying, "Holy shit, how do you live in that environment?" But she meant she had a cleaning lady for so long, and we're saying, "Wow!" So I got in there. My daughter's coming into town. My house is a mess. My cleaning lady is sick. I got to get in. She worked. She was this lady from Italian lady from Italy with a heavy accent, and she says, I looked at my husband and I said, "I cleaned this whole house. I have osteoporosis." She looks at me and goes, "It's the product. It's the product," with her accent, with her thick accent. It was so funny to hear that. And we're just amazed every single day. You guys now getting out there, touching people's lives the way you are. We're just absolutely amazed. Every single day, something new comes to our table, to our desk, which is my dining room right now. It just comes.
Someone needs to mute their mic.
Maybe we should mute everybody until.
I'll do that until I call on them. How's that? There we go.
Master of ceremonies.
All right, keep going, Carlos. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So, like I said, now with everybody that's coming on board, it seemed to me that this was meant to happen, guys. Like, everybody's coming on board as if it's a piece of the puzzle that's being completed to get out there to those million people that Mark always says, "I want 1 million people on my product." And honestly, we're going to crush it. I think we're going to surpass that million user mark very, very quickly, a lot quicker than we even expected.
Well, I'm doing my best to put a dent in it. What I'd like to say is, the timing of it again with, the COVID scare and everything that's going on. And they're scaring the hell out of everybody. But they're talking about vaccines. They're talking about a lot of stuff, disinfectants and everything else. But they're not talking about strengthening your immune system, which is actually the thing we have to do. And so, what I'd like to do is if I could unmute Dave. It won't unmute him for some reason.
There he is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Dave, there you go. With your background, Dave, I'd love to hear you, talk a little bit about the immune system and why this works so well to strengthen the immune system and why people are.
Absolutely. I was fortunate. I've been a fan of Fulvic for about 20 years. I actually was an investor in a company that the most commonly known Fulvic is out of the Himalayan mountains. It's called Shilajit. And so I knew all about that, and I was a fan of it. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine who ended up sponsoring me in this about something else. And he said, "Well, I told you I was waiting for this company to come out." I go, "Well, what's the product?" And he goes, "Have you ever heard of fulvic acid?" I go, "Shilajit?" He goes, "No." And then he began to tell me about it. And it didn't take me long to understand what we had here, and I did what we call jumping in the mud. And you know, the thing is, I could not believe that when I got involved with this, how fast a lot of these people were feeling something. And in our industry, a lot of times when you have a financial connection to something, you feel like it. It's called a placebo. And you think, well, you know, I'm thinking, well, these guys are having placebo. They're wanting it to work, so it is. But it happens so often. And the most common thing was I just had this energy. And I just had this, like this brain fog lift on people that were more my age. And so it just got more and more convincing with everything that went on. And really what it is we actually had studies done, and Carlo can talk a little bit more about that if he wants to come back on. And the studies were specifically about the immune system and viruses, and how our product literally, if you want to think of it like Velcro, as a virus is coming, trying to get into that mitochondria, to that cell, it attaches to it and it doesn't let it in there. Because once it gets in the cell, it starts to multiply and get worse and worse, and that's how we get sick. And so we actually had a study done that showed that it is an antiviral and one of the best. So all I can tell you is I still to this day cannot believe how this works. And you know, in this industry, you always look for something that who can use it. And I literally tell people, you walk out the door and the first person you see needs this. And when I was waiting for my product to come in, I was laying in bed and I thought, you know what? If we're all mineral deficient, that means we're bringing children into this world that are mineral deficient. Mm-hmm. And it really hit me there. And I said, you know what? One of the things we have to do is get the pregnant female on this. And I really truly believe that. And I've had a lot of people in my downline that are pregnant that are taking the product. And then we got somebody on here that's wife was taking the product through the whole thing, and they have our first black oxygen baby. So to answer your question, I too, as long as I've been on this, I haven't even had a sniffle. So I don't know if that answers, or if you have any other questions for me. But
if I can just piggyback a little bit on that, just simply the 60 times carrying capacity to flush the body of these toxic metals. You know, we have another sponsor under our show that does, you know, health supplements as well. But he did a study or found out that when children are born, there's over 200 different toxic metals within the umbilical cord. So that's great to see, and I would love to have a study of pregnant women to see if the number of those toxic metals are lessened by using something like this. But it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Right. And Chris is around here somewhere. Chris.
Yep.
But Chris is the gentleman that introduced me to all of this, and that was a fateful day because you know, being totally honest, when you started explaining the product to me, because of my previous experience being on a product that wasn't even half as good as this, that made me a world champion, literally gave me the endurance to train like I'm supposed to train, considering my respiratory issue, that I knew the minute you told me about it and started to explain it, that this was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. The timing of everything going on, people being hit financially, people getting sick, people being stressed, the depression, you know, being locked up in their houses and you know, not being able to do what they want. You know, this product is healing people right now. And also the people that are jumping on in the business part are able to start paying their bills, man.
Yeah, I tell you, many years ago, when I first was exposed to this industry, I was told about what if you could have a product that you believed in so much that you could share it with your friends and the people that you cared about, and it would be drop shipped. You didn't have to order a bunch of product. It would be drop shipped anywhere in the world, and you would be paid on a weekly or a monthly basis. And for the last 25 years, I've searched for that product. I've been around this industry for so long, and you begin to become very jaded. You begin to become very, very untrusting of the next company that comes along. And about 10 months ago, when I was introduced to this, it was because a guy put a message on Facebook, which I never pay attention to. And he put a message on Facebook, and he was literally talking to two of his friends who had passed away, that he finally found a product that was similar to a product that they used to love called Shilajit, only it was better because it was fulvic from plants. And that person had this amazing story. He was a guy that used to be a very successful promoter, and he ended up having a series of circumstances, and he lost one of his legs. And he was taking painkillers just to get to sleep every night. And when he found this product, within just a few weeks, he was off the painkillers. He was feeling better. Now that person is Dave Bykowski. And Dave Bykowski, I didn't know Dave until then. I didn't know him, but I got to tell you the truth. I didn't believe it. I was incredibly skeptical. I decided to try the product. My wife and I got on it, and this was a little over 9 months ago. We started using the product, and he's right. In just a few weeks, my wife was pregnant for our fourth child, and in 5 years, by the way. And we made a decision, and it was a decision that was a tough decision for us to make. It was, are we going to use this product through her pregnancy? And when she decided, the way she was feeling, that she was going to use it every single day through her entire pregnancy. And the results were amazing. No swelling in her ankles, no constipation, no hemorrhoids, none of that. None of the things that are normally associated with a pregnancy, especially the fourth pregnancy of an over 40 woman. None of those things were happening. We ended up, she got put into the hospital in the middle of this, in the middle of this COVID challenge. They wouldn't even allow me in the hospital. And the one thing that she took into the hospital was made sure she had enough of the black oxygen. And she took it 2 and 3 times a day, all the way through her pregnancy. Even the day of the pregnancy, she took it. And the results are amazing. As soon as we got home, we had a baby son, and he's incredibly healthy. He has blue eyes. He's looking at us already. He's just 2 weeks old right now, and he's doing things that kids don't do for months and months and months. He's incredibly advanced. He's already starting to roll over, which is unheard of. And Jeffrey, it's really interesting that you said that about the umbilical cord, because she had been using the product all the way up to pregnancy. And now every time we feed him, he gets 1 drop of black oxygen. We're not trying to give him a lot, but from the day he got home, he was jaundiced. And they said that it would take a month for that color to change. And within 7 days, that color was completely gone. His eyes are completely white. And this happened within 7 days, not in 30 days or 35 days. It's been an amazing experience for me. Personally, I've had great results on the product. I've used it every single day. I love the product. I had the chance to meet Carlo and spend a lot of time talking to the president of the company, Carlo, and you guys. One thing Carlo said to me is like, "Hey, Chris, I was the first customer. I was the first guy on the product." And he's been an incredible help for me. He's been a great support mechanism, because every time I would have a problem or I would have a challenge or something, I would have a question more than that, he would be right there. And so when I introduced this to you, Pat, it was right in the middle of this entire COVID thing. And I didn't know that you had not worked in broadcasting for a couple of months, and you had not gotten a check in the last couple of months. I had not known any of that. And it blew my mind to see what's happened with you. And you got on the product, and you didn't really talk about it too much, so I'm going to talk about it. Pat Miletich went out, guys, and in an industry that you hear about distributors, you hear about brand partners, Pat Miletich did exactly what an online business is supposed to do. He shared this with friends who became customers, to the tune of about 300 customers in the last 7 weeks. 300 customers. That is unbelievable. And the only way that happens is if a product flat out works. We're not talking about people coming in because they want to be brand partners and they want to look at the comp plan and they want to see how to make money. We're talking people who are using this product, having great results, and placing order after order after order, never even questioning, is there a business here? Now, in the very beginning, Pat, we're starting to see people ask you. I know they're calling you back saying, "Hey, Pat, I have some friends of mine that want to be on this." And that's when Pat's opening up the brand partner conversation. It's been such a pleasure. Jeffrey, same with you, to have you involved with as successful as your show is right now, having you guys choose to use the product and become a brand partner and refer this product that way. Yeah, I've always believed, whether you're a professional athlete or whether you're an influencer, to create partnerships for creating income. Don't look at sponsorships. Create partnerships, because long after your success is gone, long after the sun stops shining on you, you have an income that'll pay you for the rest of your life. It's called leveraged distribution income. Introduce somebody to a product one time and get paid for the life of their use. It's amazing. It's happening right now. The company's in 18 countries. I'm speaking to you from the Philippines right now. The company immediately decided to open up in the Philippines within just a couple of months of them opening up in Canada. Now they're in Canada, they're in the USA, they're in the Philippines, they're all through Europe, and they're shipping product, and people are getting great results, all kinds of results.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah. Some of the results as far as my ultra running buddies, guys who have done tons of marathons and 100-mile runs through the mountains in Colorado and stuff like that. One of them, he's a professor at a local university here, and the guy's literally bulletproof. He's invincible.
Mhm.
And he's 53, 54 years old. And I've never seen him hurt, except one time playing basketball, he came down flat on his back and smacked his head and was a little banged up, but he still went out and ran 15 miles the next day. But that's the kind of guy he is. And I asked him after he got on it, I said, tell me about your recovery. That's what I'm interested in most right now with a 54-year-old guy he's training for another 100-mile run. And he goes, to be honest with you, I'm not noticing the recovery. I'm not noticing it because I've always recovered well. Maybe I'm just a freak of nature. But what I am noticing is that my per mile time on long runs has gone from an average of 8:15 minute miles to 7:45 already. And that's 30 seconds off a mile for 20 miles, 25 miles, for whatever distance he's running. And now when you track him, his heart rate is the same, right? And then another guy who's an amazing runner, he called me up and he said, hey, so 5 drops, right? And I go, no, it's 5 eyedroppers in the bottle version of it. And he goes, oh, maybe that's the problem. And so he got on it. He was on it for a day and a half correctly. And then he goes, I did because he and I and some of the other guys did a 50-mile run in 97-degree heat one summer. And it fried my internal thermostat for quite a while. I was heat stroking for about 4 hours of that run. It was bad, hallucinating and everything. And he got pretty fried too. So he said, I don't like running in the heat anymore. So I went inside. I did a 12 incline power hike at 4.2 miles an hour. You try that sometime. Get on a treadmill and walk. You can't grab the treadmill because the Sherpa's not dragging you up the mountain. You power hike at 4.2 miles an hour for an hour at 12 incline and see how long you last at that. This guy's incredible. And so anyway, he goes, I got done with that. And he goes, I felt like I didn't even have a workout. So I decided to go run 7 miles outside in the heat. And he went out and he ran and he sent me his times per mile. And he goes, dude, I'm telling you, this stuff is working. And then he got on the rowing machine the very next day and just crushed 10,000 meters. And he goes, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. He goes, that's high level ultra runners who can endure 100 miles at high altitude, which is horrible. If you saw the mountains those guys have to go over, I literally had a panic attack, an anxiety attack for 3 days once I saw the course that I was going to have to run. These guys do that with a smile. So they're a whole different animal, and they're experiencing it all the way down to the autistic kids where the mothers are crying because their children are talking like crazy and the quality of life is changing. That and I've said it before, we're somewhere between an autistic kid and a world-class ultra runner, right? All of us, we're all in there. And so that's the amazing thing about this. It's helping such a wide variety of every human that's putting it in their body is getting just incredible results. So I'm just really excited. And Paul Lazenby from Canada, the power lifter who got on it, started crushing his workouts after being on it for, I don't know, 5 days, whatever it was. Well, he didn't reorder and he ran out.
Oh, geez. I hate that.
You know, when you're on products like this for a long time, you're going to have a longer lasting residual. Like if you were to stop it, you're going to do better for longer. But he'd only been on it for a month. So after being off of it, he goes, I'm never going without this again, because once he started crushing his workouts again and going back up in weight and reps and everything else. So it's impressive stuff.
You bring up that 5-drop thing, Pat. When it's funny because our researchers that's doing our private research for us, we were on the call, myself and Mark. Look, I have some good connections. I got Mark on the call here too. But anyway, he was talking about having enough product. That don't worry, we have a lot of product. We're still doing research. We're getting some incredible results. He sits there and I says, "What do you mean a lot of product? We only sent them like a couple of bottles. How does he have a lot of product?" And I said, "Mark, are you listening to this? He's using 5 drops, man. He's not using 5 dropper fulls." And I said, "Listen," I said, I don't remember what his name is, but I said, "Are you using 5 drops or are you using?" "I'm using 5 drops. Isn't that what it is?" I said, "No." I said, "It's 5 dropper fulls." He goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "I'm getting incredible results with 5 drops." I says, "Well, let's see what you're going to get with 5 dropper fulls now."
Wow.
And Mark looks at me, he goes, "No, what are you talking about? He's not." I said, "Yes, he's using 5 drops." He goes, "What?" It was an amazing moment there when we said, we're getting pretty good results. We want to make sure that everybody gets their 5 mils every shot, but just to say that it's such a powerful product, even with a little bit, is a good thing. That being said, I'm the mud boy. There's the mud man right there at the bottom, man. He knows everything about Fulvic. It's awesome. I thought I'd just have him come on board here and say hello and say a few words for everybody here.
Yeah, Mark, welcome to the call. Thanks for jumping on, buddy.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. I always enjoy these calls. I'm always amazed about the testimonials. That's what freaks me out, because, you know, when you've been doing this for 30 years, you know, it kind of like second nature, right? And then I've treated so many patients who say, you know, but when you get some people on board that get so much amazing results, you're saying, you know what, I'm on the right track. I think I'm doing something right. And I'm just a messenger. I mean, I discovered this 35 years ago, became my passion, became my life passion. And, you know, when I first started, give you an idea, we used to truck mud with the 4-wheelers and some barrels and bring it to my house. And I had a meat grinder, believe it or not, a meat grinder. And I was grinding that mud in the garage, and I had a Maytag washing machine to mix it. That's how I started. And I used to mix that and take some mud, put it in a Ziploc bag, and give that to my patients. And my patients would go home and take a mud bath for 20 minutes. Now, that's a lot of work compared to what we can do now with taking a tablet and taking a drink, right? But in those days, the results was, what the hell is in that shit? It's unbelievable. I got less pain, more mobility, and I want that stuff for my aunt, my uncle, my friend, and it just blew like that. And I was doing 500 of those Ziploc bags in my garage. And that's how it started. I said, I got to bottle this stuff. I got to start a business. That's how primitive it started, because from my training, knowing that the Unic and Fulvic content of our bog was higher than the German, I knew I had something right. And I didn't know. I didn't have any resources. I had no clue I was going to do it. But I had one thing in mind. I knew I was doing something good when people took a mud bath. And today, you guys have you have a delivery system that is easy to use, man. And that's, you know, instant. Like Pat, you take it right away, bang, you get the energy. You athletes who are going to a super event, you have access. You don't have to take 20-minute bath and lay in it for 20 minutes and get all dirty. I mean, you can do that. You can go down and dirty if you want. But the delivery of that tablet is so much better now. And that's what's so exciting for me.
Yeah, and I'd like to know, you know, where did it jump into your mind that you needed to figure out a way for people to ingest this?
I used to tell people, take 2 tablespoons, put that in 10 ounces of water and drink it. They were drinking mud. So I said, oh shit, they're drinking it. they're crazy, but they're doing it. And so I said, well, maybe we can drink the stuff. And then in enabling, the mud structure, I mean, people would drink it because I would recommend it. And I would tell them to take it. But, you can't sell a bottle of mud to drink it on the shelf. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to buy it, right?
Right.
So I was always trying to think of an innovative ways to extract the fulvic out of the humic. And that's where in 2000, between 2013, 2015, it was the extraction method, freeze dry the mud, get rid of the pulp, pressurize the fulvic out of the mud. We were able to do that. So now we have just the active ingredient from the mud with all the minerals, all the vitamins, all of the amino acids. They're all there.
Without the branches, Mark. Without the branches.
Without the pulp and the branches. And that was cool. My first experience with the mud bath is I gave it to my mother. She's not listening. But anyways, my mother took a mud bath and was amazed by the product. Of course, her son had created something wonderful. But she came back outside and she said, the only thing, Mark, you got to get rid of the branches and the leaves on the water. That's how primitive it started. And we have what we have today. And now we have science behind it. Like what Carla was saying, we have a scientific research coming out. And as soon as I have that translation from German to English, we have a research patent that's going to talk about the effect of fulvic on the mitochondria. And it's exactly into cell regeneration, increasing the oxygen. That's exactly what athletes need to know. And we're going to have that very, very soon for you guys.
Yeah, and on top of that, you guys are looking at getting the NSF approval.
Yes.
And then, people are asking me who are competitive and world-class fighters, is it USADA approved? Will they test positive? And you're the formulator. You can explain it. If there's just no way that a test for performance-enhancing drugs of any kind are going to come up in this, because it's basically just minerals and vitamins from 1,500 plants from bog mud.
Well, believe it or not, the scientist was saying the other day, I was talking to him, we actually have fulvic and humic in our bodies because it's made of carbon, and we're made of carbon. So, some part of our cell has that ability that the fulvic has. And that's why when you take it in, your body recognizes as a friend and a need. And that's why it's not stranger to your body. It's not a stranger. It's not a drug. It's not something that is contra-affecting your homeostasis in the body. That's the beauty of it. And then the other thing that I have to mention is it's nanonized, which nanonization now, the buzzword is we're talking about nanonization now, but the molecule is so minute that it has the ability to penetrate in the cell. And so as soon as you drink it in the intestine and in the stomach walls, it goes straight into the bloodstream. So it's absorbed immediately with the drinkable, soluble formulation. And that's the beauty of it. So whether you're intoxicated, whether you're constipated, whether you have digestive problems, it starts absorbing through the esophagus, even in the mouth, even in the saliva. You're absorbing it into it. Some people will take the tablet and dissolve it in the mouth. Under the labia, all the saliva, all the ducts absorb the fulvic right into the mouth. It's instant. It goes into the blood. So because of nanonization, it's very powerful.
Right. And, the testimonials that I'm getting back, another friend of mine, as I've said, has been very, very sick for years. He's almost died a couple times because of his condition. And after 3 days being on the product, he messaged me and said, my blood pressure is gone in 3 days, where my blood pressure was 168/62 for years.
Mm-hmm.
Now 116/62 after 3 days of being on this. And Dave pointed out that's because it's getting rid of the inflammation in the veins, the arteries and everything. And that's where cholesterol gets hung up anyway on those walls of veins and arteries that are inflamed. So it's
also the chelation. When you have high blood pressure or blood disease or heart disease, a lot of heavy metal content in your body. The fulvic is a chelator. Chelation, through intravenous at the hospital, everybody knows that. But this chelation method is through the cell. So when I was talking about delivering minerals in the cell, the fulvic has 60 times its weight, has 60 little legs It has the ability to capture negative ions, which are heavy metals in the body that reduces the systemic functions of the blood circulation and creates high blood pressure. So when you're cleansing at the same time, it's just like you're getting the UPS man and the garbage man all at the same time. So you're bringing in nutrients and you're taking out toxins. And that taking out toxins is chelation. And that chelation, by the way, is another research that we're doing and we're going to have for you. We're going to show that our products is actually chelating heavy metal. We're doing a research for chlordicon in Guadeloupe, which is similar to what's that insecticide we put Roundup. It's the same thing. It's a pesticide, and there's toxicity all over that country. And we have 60 patients in Guadeloupe that are doing the detox chelation treatment with our products, showing that there's a reduction between 3 and 12% reduction in heavy metal in their bodies. That's huge, huge.
And that's the thing is that brain fog that everybody talks about leaving, you know, the autistic kids suddenly being able to start functioning, you know, so much better because the metals are being removed out of the cells. And it's an amazing experience to get that feedback, you know, and this is the first, I mean, I've been passionate about a few things in life, you guys, you know, certainly winning a world title, coaching people to world titles. And, you know, I love broadcasting. I love doing that. But this is something that when I wake up in the morning, I'm really excited every morning to do this. And that's that.
Conspiracy Farm. Excuse me. Sorry.
Jeffrey.
Don't leave us out, brother. Don't leave us out.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you said a few things I've been passionate about. You just, you know, left out, you know, the shout.
Oh, the Conspiracy Farm. Yeah, no. We've been very, very, very passionate about that. And it has been successful, right? We're not going to be successful at things unless we're very passionate about it. And that's
absolutely
the difference.
Absolutely.
Just like I said, you know, and we'll let you guys talk a little bit for any of you that want to talk about it. You know, for me, not having done a broadcast for 4 months, I mean, my income got destroyed by this thing. And the fact that I realized that I was depending on other people for a paycheck, and that no longer existed because of forces that were out of my control, to be able to do this and make an incredible living doing it and helping people at the same time and not depending on others for a check is the most freeing thing I think that's ever happened to me in my life. To just know that no matter what happens, that I know that there's going to be money in my bank account. And that's, you know, for so many people out there that are hurting financially right now, you know, I want them to understand that all the people on this call, it's a team effort. We're going to help people, gladly help them. They can take any of these videos and let their friends, family, whoever listen to it, put it on their pages, social media, and just change people's lives. And that's what this is about, man. And you know, just dedicating ourselves to helping other people and making a living doing it. I don't think there's anything better you can do.
There's nothing better, man. It's funny because me and Mark, we have this incredible passion, and it all started off for the product. But as we grow, it's incredible to see everybody coming on board, and you almost feel like they're family. You feel like they're the extension of our passion, and really is. I mean, everybody's getting out there with such passion, because what better thing is that you can help people around you with their health and not worry about the abundance. The abundance is going to come anyway. Just help people, and you help yourself. You know, unknowingly, you're helping yourself, just trying to help people with their health. And like I said before, I said this many times, wealth is different for everybody. I mean, for that one lady down the street that can pay her car to get her kids to school, or a grocery to help her kids eat, or Chris Thomas in the Philippines wants to drive his Ferrari around, or, you know, it's
my minivan.
Oh yeah, your mini bus with you're gonna keep it up. Hey, don't blame me for number 5, eh? That's not my fault. Black Oxygen. It's not Black Oxygen.
Good. 6 is my lucky number.
Holy Jesus! He's never gonna stop this guy.
Well,
you know what?
It's interesting you brought something up about wealth. Like, as we talk about oftentimes on the show, health is wealth. And as people
Right.
start making more educated decisions about their health, they're taking more proactive steps. You know, you don't want to call the bomb squad in after the bomb's already gone off. That's why you see so many people over 50 with this Monday through Sunday line of pills that they got to take. So when you start taking these more proactive steps, this is real healthcare. Because when everyone starts having to be on these things and healthcare costs go through the roof, you know, we wind up having to pay for that with higher taxes, et cetera. So taking these more educated steps are hugely important. And I tell Pat all the time, and for people who are concerned about their health and really, you know, not looking for a magic bullet, but something that actually works, this stuff sells itself, man. When you start talking about 45% more oxygen on a cellular level and the nano aspect of it, how it can penetrate the cell in the mitochondria, I mean, for people who are willing to just sit and listen to it and actually try it too. The testimonials are really one thing, and they're very powerful. Like Pat was saying, we're all from the autistic son to your elite athlete, but it's working for everybody, regardless if you're, you know, running 20 miles or you just want. The brain fog thing is what killed it for me. It's like I was, you know, just clearing that mindset. My cognition just got better. I don't take those afternoon naps. I don't work out really hard anymore, but I always used to have that delayed muscle soreness, I think it was called, DMS. So I would be sore like 2 days later, nothing. So, I mean, it's beautiful. It really does sell itself. Sorry.
It does. It really
There's
does.
a thing-
I've been working out with a 25-year-old Agim Sharifi. He's been pushing me hard. I'm 53, and you know, waking up at 5:15 every single morning, hitting the gym for 6, out of there for like 7:30, and getting back as Jeffrey says, I run all the way, and Chris is gonna laugh probably, but I run all the way to like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. He thinks it's a grandfather time to go to bed, but man, at 5 o'clock in the morning, you hit that gym real hard. You work all day on calls all day long. Like this is one of, I don't know how many calls I did today, and we're still going, and I don't really feel tired. I'll hit that wall probably around 10:30, Chris. So, you know, excuse me if it's rough. It's nice and early for you, but it's true. It does keep you going all day long. It's awesome.
Chris, I'm expecting a rebuttal before we get off of here.
I got nothing to say. Hey, I'm up at 8 o'clock in the morning my time, and this is fantastic. I was wondering what it looks like this early in the morning.
Yes, he says, you know what? It's funny because he makes it sound like he gets up every single morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just let's make sure that the recording states first time in like since I've known him for a year that he's been up at this time of the morning.
My kids get me up at about 7. My kids.
Yeah, but you go
actually
back to
come
bed.
in. Well, they come into the room.
But I love it when people say, you know what, I was up at 2 a.m. I was up at you went up to go to the washroom, you went back to bed. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. You don't talk like that, man.
Well, awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on here. This has been an awesome call, and we're having a lot of fun and helping people. And so, you know, anybody that hears this, by all means, you know, contact whoever turned you on to the call, and we'll get you started on the products, and, you know, hopefully change your life for the better. Because I think just getting started. The snowball's just starting to roll downhill, and it's growing quick.
It's all about the fun. It's all about the fun, guys.
You bet.
Gentlemen, and thanks again, all of you
Have a
guys.
good evening.
Thank you, guys.
Mark,
Have a
Jeff,
good
Dave, Chris, and Matt.
Take care,
Matt, we didn't
everybody.
get to you, but guys, have a great night.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.